Hey everybody, it's Zach here from the Ed Boys, and today's video is going to be a first look at Soul Wars and old school RuneScape. Some of you may remember back in the day playing Soul Wars. At least for me, it's been like 8+ years, I think, since my last Soul Wars game. This is just going to be a first impressions video for now, since they have already mentioned they're going to make some changes. I will eventually make more of a guide for some Soul Wars action. Soul Wars is a large-scale minigame with both a mix of PvP and PvM involved. The overall goal is to kill the opponent's avatar, which is a pretty big but simple boss, but also there is PvP active at all times, so it can get pretty wild. Soul Wars is a members-only activity. To get into Soul Wars, you're going to need to have at least 500 total level and at least 40 combat, though I don't know how much fun you're going to have if you only have 40 combat in here. You're probably going to get wrecked, but who knows? There are two different portals that can take you to Soul Wars. One of them is located in Edgeville, southwest of the bank. And the other one is located in the Ferox Enclave out in the wilderness, which can easily be teleported to with a Ring of Dueling. Like I said, the main objective is to kill the opposing team's avatar. One team wins if they kill the other team's avatar 5 times. The game will also end after 15 minutes, and the team with the most kills would win at that point, unless it's even, in which the game ends in a tie as far as I'm aware, though currently there's really no ties. It's either the red team wins or the blue team loses. The avatars are located in each of the team's home base on either side of the map, so trekking over there can be a bit of a feat sometimes with a wall of opponents coming to attack you. If you're ever outnumbered by opponents, you're most likely not going to survive, unless maybe some of your teammates come to aid you a little bit. Right as an avatar spawns, it's going to have 100% avatar strength, which is actually a damage reduction, or in other words, it's a shield. If the avatar is at 100% strength, then it reduces the damage that you do to it by 100%. 50% strength, it reduces your damage by 50%, of course. So you do need to get that shield down. To get the shield down, you have to sacrifice soul fragments to the obelisk in the center. Whichever team has the most players at the obelisk has control over it, and each of their soul fragments knock down the avatar's strength 3 times as much as any sacrifice by the team that doesn't have control of it. So it's very important to take control of the center. Soul fragments can be collected from killing NPCs like ghosts near the graveyards, and I think you get some of the soul fragments from players that you kill, but I didn't see a concrete mechanic. It's hard to tell exactly how many soul fragments, if any, that somebody has on them when you kill them. The NPCs that you can kill for soul fragments can be found around the map. There are some ghosts north and south of the center obelisk if you don't run directly through the center. But there's also a couple of ghost spots near the graveyards on each side of the map. Speaking of graveyards, if you get killed, which you likely will get killed many times during the match, or at least a couple of times, you're going to spawn in whichever graveyard your team has captured. If your team has both of the graveyards captured, you're going to spawn to the one that's closer to the other team's base, which is really solid when trying to get back to the avatar. If you have neither of the graveyards captured, though, then you just spawn in your own home base way far back. There is a decent balance with having to keep control of the center so that your soul fragments are actually worth something, but also trying to keep control of the graveyards while you're at it so that you have a decent spawn point. You also have to send people in to fight the actual avatar, and you also should have people staying behind to defend your own avatar and your base. So a little bit of teamwork can go a long way in Soul Wars. Currently, as far as I can tell, it is mostly just random people. There's not that much organization, but at the same time, red team seems to be winning every single game. So they get stacked almost every time, mostly because you can choose your teams currently, which we'll be discussing that they might be changing that here in a minute. First, let's get into the reward system. The reward system for Soul Wars uses Zeal, which is basically like Soul Wars points is the idea. You receive Zeal for doing various activities in Soul Wars, including killing another player, healing your teammates with bandages, burying bones in the graveyard, which heals your team's avatar's strength. It's actually kind of useful for your team. Sacrificing soul fragments to the obelisk, dealing damage to the opposing avatar, or capturing a graveyard or the obelisk will give you some Zeal. At the end of each game, there is a scorecard showing you what you did and how much Zeal that you received. I don't quite know the concrete numbers for each activity and how much Zeal you should expect, though some of them aren't concrete numbers. Even when it comes down to killing another player, you get more Zeal for a stronger player, and you get less Zeal if you keep killing the same player over and over again so that you don't just keep beating up on some poor guy. Also, the winning team receives a 20% bonus to however much Zeal they earned, while the losing team sees a 20% decrease in the amount of Zeal that they get. So it is fairly important to win, or in other words, be on the red team currently. At the moment, there's only a few rewards that you can buy with Zeal. First, we have the Soul Wars Cape, which is a new best-in-slot prayer cape, giving a +8 prayer bonus. That is very thick for the prayer bonus. This cape costs 2,500 Zeal, which is kind of a lot. It's a bit of a grind, but a bit of a grind for best-in-slot makes sense. Next, we've got the Plasmater, which gives you prayer XP, just like a Bone Crusher would, but instead of burying bones for you, you would get XP after killing a ghost, which normally doesn't drop any prayer-related things. The amount of XP you get per ghost depends on how many hit points that ghost had. Lastly, we have the Spoils of War, which is basically a supply crate. You can get various seeds, ores, and other supplies, or even the very rare pet drop. They've given us the Little Creator or Little Destructor with Soul Wars. You can choose between the two of them when you have the pet, and they both look pretty sick. They've yet to release any odds on them, but I imagine that they've got a pretty thick number. And I almost forgot that you can also imbue your rings here instead of having to go to Nightmare Zones. So if you wanted an alternative option to imbue your rings, Soul Wars can do that for you. Jagex has already proposed a few changes and thrown down a couple of hotfixes for Soul Wars. Here's what they say that they'll be changing in about a week after this video comes out. Apparently, bearded players are going through some graphical glitches that they're going to fix. They're going to add some examine options to items in the reward shop, which is not a huge deal, but it is kind of nice. A counter to let you track how many Spoils of War you've opened is very nice. Having a kill count for trying to collect that pet would be interesting. They're going to add a short 3-second immunity for anybody respawning from a graveyard. That's kind of nice, so you don't just get tanked and camped right at the respawn point. They're going to fix it so you don't have to stand as close to the avatar for your character to run up to it. Usually when you click on an NPC and you're using like a whip, your character runs over to attack it. If you're too far from the avatar right now, it doesn't. It just tells you to get closer. And then they're also going to add a 10-second like relief period when the game first starts for your activity bar. You do have to continue to actually do something in the game. They have an activity bar so that you get zeal. Generally, if you're playing Soul Wars, if you're actually there to try the content, then you should have no worries with the activity bar. Jagex is also looking for a little bit of feedback from us on a couple of points. First of all, the unbalanced question. This is what I was saying about the red teams always winning. Currently, since you can choose your team, people just get screwed out of a lot of wins if they can't get onto the red team because the red team's just winning over and over. Even if it happens to switch over and all the good players get onto the blue team, rather just having it be random players on each team would give everybody a chance to win, which is a nice participation trophy. But also, I think it is important that they keep some worlds where you can choose your team, because it would be pretty cool if you could actually organize a team of like 10 to 20 people from your clan and go do some organized Soul Wars too. So it shouldn't be only randoms, but there should be an option for random teams and an option for organized teams. The next point they make is that using multiple bandages takes a while. It's like eating food. There's a little bit of a delay, which when you're being attacked by like 3 or 4 people, kind of makes them useless. It's pretty hard to survive if anybody's able to do decent damage to you. So apparently they're thinking about possibly removing the delay. Also, they want some ideas on rewards. There are only a handful of rewards, and I don't have any great ideas off the top of my head. Though I feel like if they go for any other rewards on Soul Wars, they'll probably keep it prayer related. They could do something simple like with the Plasmater, it gives you prayer XP when you kill a ghost. It could also like heal a prayer point on high level ghosts. Maybe that would help at Cerberus when you protect from the spirits. It could do something similar to Spectral Spirit Shield, or, I don't know, help in some way in a prayer fashion. I imagine any new rewards that they try to add to the game will have something to do with prayer. That's about it for this first looks video though, everyone. Soul Wars is a lot of fun, and overall the only downside that I have found during my first set of games is the unbalanced teams. It's just the red team that wins every game. If you get on the red team, you're hyped. If you don't get on the red team, sucks to suck. You still get some pretty solid zeal. The 20% increase and decrease makes a difference, but if you're actually grinding out any task that gives you zeal, you'll still get a decent amount of zeal per game no matter what. I do plan on making an actual guide in the future for Soul Wars and farming yourself some zeal, but I plan on waiting for some of these proposed changes and feedback ideas to go down first. Thank you very much for watching this Soul Wars first looks video, everyone. If you enjoyed the video or just got some useful information, be sure to like and subscribe for more content. If you have any questions or opinions yourself about the Soul Wars content or upcoming changes, be sure to leave those in the comments section so I can get back to you as soon as possible. I do stream on Twitch, which should be linked on the screen and in the description. If you've been enjoying the YT content, then maybe you enjoy the Twitch side of things too. I'm also on Twitter and have a Discord, which should be linked in the description. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and best of luck on your Soul Wars grind.